So this is Shan McGrail, and I'm in Gimli, Manitoba with Steve Dembo from Discovery Education. Steve, you gave a fantastic keynote yesterday, and one of the things that really jumped out was the concept of digital native and digital immigrant. So kind of in your words, what does this really mean to you? How do you see it playing?
I think it's an interesting idea, and I do think there's some merit to it in just that, as kids are growing up, if they've grown up with technology being, ubiquitous to them, they do tend to think differently. They kind of have these assumptions. Like my son, we went to a hotel at one point, and he wanted to watch cartoons, and I flipped through all the channels, and there weren't any cartoons on. And I told him, there's no cartoons on, and I turned off the TV, and he looked at me like I was absolutely crazy. He handed me the remote. He said, here's the remote, just make it happen. He's used to the TiVo, where we can just turn it on all the time. So the concept of something not being on TV is just completely alien to him. So in that sense, I do think there's some merit to the, to the idea. But on the whole, the thought that we can't, that digital immigrants won't be able to accommodate those same ideas or inherit those same characteristics in some sense, I don't buy into that, because I do see educators that are using more technology now that are engaging in these social communities online, in particular these Twitter communities and Digo communities and so on. They are adopting the exact same characteristics we've come to expect from the digital natives.
Given what you know and kind of the technology trends and some of the things that you were talking about in your keynote yesterday, 5 years from now, where do you think educators are going to be?
That's a tricky question, because I'd like to be optimistic, but I also tend to think realistic. And based on current trends, like you showed in your keynote this morning, the current trend is to have a teacher in the front and to have 20 desks and to have some sort of a projector or whiteboard in the front of the room. And given that we've used that same model for 40, 50, 60 years, I'm not so sure that's going to disappear in 5 years. What I do think is going to change is that the way that teachers prepare and students consume curriculum. I think while the classroom itself may not be so different, I think that there's going to be a lot more students who are going to have more control over the content and the curriculum, in terms of, it won't be just, right now the textbooks are fixed. I think they're going to obviously make that shift from the paper version to the digital version, and they're going to have the opportunity to kind of remix it, to take control of their learning. It's going to be a lot more individualized, and not just individualized, but also regionalized.